Guys, how would you rate Mohammed Kudus' performance today for Westham as they took on Liverpool? They lost that game by 2-1, but let me know how you rate Mohammed Kudus out of 10. Because for me, this was the first time in a very long time that Mohammed Kudus reminded all of us of what he did last season. This is a typical Mohammed Kudus performance. What we have been saying the whole of last season, that is what he gave in the Liverpool game. And for the first time that I was watching a game in the EPL, and Liverpool were afraid of one player. That was Mohammed Kudus. Anytime he had the ball, there were about 4 or 3 players around him trying to dispossess him. And Mohammed Kudus is a very strong player. I'm not going to lie. At this point, if Mohammed Kudus was from England, he would be hyped so well. If he was a Brazilian, 1 year word, they would have been calling him Kudus Dino and things. It's just rather unfortunate that he's coming from Africa here, Ghana here, and we are not hyping him enough. They lost that game, but if you want to take one good thing from that game, it was just Mohammed Kudus' performance and some players from Westham. So guys, we are going to jump into it, but before we do that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. You're watching SportsCornerGH, and happy Palm Sunday to you all. So guys, quickly, let's jump into it. Liverpool, after they were kicked out of the UCL, their focus is to win the EPL title. They have focused on it for a very long time, and they are doing well at it, because if you check the EPL table, they sit lonely at the top. I mean, they sit comfortably there, and Arsenal is not even a contender for them as at this point, getting to the close of the season. West Ham themselves are part of the bottom 5, so it's a matter of David and Goliath in this particular game. And before this game, I was asking a few friends of mine as to who was going to win, and everybody was like, oh, Liverpool were going to win convincingly, they were going to win with a very huge goal margin. But the game was so different, especially when it was played. So let's jump into the game itself. Now, the game began with good news for Liverpool, because Mo Salah renewed his contract with 2 years. So these players were poised to give the fans at Anfield something to go home happy about. So they wanted to put up a spectacular performance. And I'm not going to lie, the first 30 minutes of the first half was fantastic from Liverpool. They played extremely well. They played like normal or usual Liverpool that we used to see in the EPL. They possess the ball, they dictate the pace, they attack more, and they were rewarded with a goal in the first half, which is normal for Liverpool. But you see, when the opposition team scores you, a big team, then everybody pays attention to the game. Now, there were a lot of games being played as at that moment, and that game was not really important for people, because people, already had this assumption that Liverpool were going to have an easy walk over West Ham. Now, Liverpool scored the first goal, and then surprisingly enough, they scored an own goal, giving West Ham an advantage in the game, because there was a cross from Wan-Bissaka, and then by mistake, Robertson scored Liverpool. So it was an own goal, and the scoreline was 1-1. For West Ham, I was expecting one thing from them, to make sure that the man managed the game till the end and walk away with a point. But they were not able to do so. Now, they also lost focus and allowed Liverpool to score a goal. In fact, they scored the winner. Virgil van Dijk scored that winner for Liverpool. And at the end of the game, Liverpool walked away with all 3 points. And this brings me back to what I've been complaining about when it comes to West Ham all season. Their defense is so bad. No matter who you put there, they still do the mistake. And today, the back 3 was Mavropanos, Tobido, and also Kilman. So for me, I was expecting these 3 players to do well. And because they were getting support from their fullbacks, Carles and also Wan-Bissaka. So why can't you 5 defenders keep clean sheet, or at least protect your goalkeeper? They were not doing that. But then that is the headache for the coach himself to solve. I wanted to talk about Mohammed Kudus. Let's use the rest of the minute to talk about Mohammed Kudus and his performance in that game. Mohammed Kudus this season has not had it easy. He has not really played well. So far, 3 goals, 2 assists in the EPL. As compared to last season, this season has not really gone well. But then today, it was different. It was peculiar. It was kind of special for Mohammed Kudus, because Liverpool themselves are long-time admirers of the player. And it was as if he was sending a message to the fans. he was doing a justify to the fans and also the coaches. Or for me, he was doing an advert and he was selling himself not only to Liverpool but to other teams that were interested in him, because he gave us the vintage Mohammed Kudus performance of last season. This was the first time that I've seen Mohammed Kudus play football as if he was possessed. It was as if there was a spirit within the player playing the football. See, Kudus played so well that at a point, I believed he was going to score a goal against Liverpool. You see, he played so well that he was able to hit the woodwork. That takes his woodwork hitting tally to 6. And in the EPL, he's the one topping when it comes to players who have hit the woodwork. Yes, 6. So imagine him scoring that goal. It have been good for him. And after the international break, this has been his best game. Mohammed Kudus, see, if you watch that game like the way I did, then you know Liverpool themselves, the players, they were so scared anytime Mohammed Kudus was on the ball. Anytime Kudus was on the ball, you could see the coach instructing the players, like 2 or 3 players should be around Mohammed Kudus. And if you want to talk about the biggest strength of Mohammed Kudus, aside his dribbling abilities, it is the ability of him keeping the ball. He's so strong to the extent that it is very difficult to dispossess him. And today, he showed that in several phases of the game. See, Kudus is a very talented player. And I have been one person who have said that even though Kudus have not had the best of seasons, he's going to end the season very well because the end justifies the means. No one was going to think about how you started the season if you end the season very well. And Kudus, my man, you played so well to the extent that if you go on social media, Liverpool fans at this moment are calling for Mohammed Kudus to be in Liverpool next season because they have seen something in the player that they believe that next season, if he's part of their team, they can achieve the impossible. They can win treble or something. But then Kudus today has proved to everyone that he might be having a bad season, but when he decides, when he puts on that his form, he's unstoppable. Kudus today, I'm going to say this. If I'm not lying, he's one of the best wingers in the EPL just because he's playing Westham. If you put Kudus in a Liverpool team, or put Kudus in a Man City team, or put Kudus in a Newcastle team, let's say, or an Arsenal team, I'm telling you, he will be in the conversation for player of the month, player of the season. Let me even add Ballon d'Or. If the team does well in that case, because Kudus did extremely well. And for the first time, SofaScore gave Kudus 7.0. Kudus, upon all the ball he played, SofaScore gave him 7.0. We no go talk. But in that game, Kudus was not the only one that impressed me from Westham. Lucas Paqueta was really good, especially with the true boss. The true boss was so good today. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Hey, he's from Manchester United, but then the way he plays for Westham sometimes amazes me. His dribbling skills, his ability to push the ball forward and even give incisive crosses and passes has been excellent in the game. Also, Jarrod Bowen was good, and I think Westham, their defenders and goalkeeper let them down because regardless of that, they played a very good game. The coach tactics and plan was good. Graham Potter is a very good coach. Looking at the way he has played with, Westham, it is really good. He just needs some players because the players he has and the players he's working with are not good, especially the defenders. He just needs some good players in that team, and he's going to do well. But Liverpool themselves, they were lucky because when they scored that own goal, they were shaking themselves. They were shaking, and at the point, Mohammed Kudus was causing a lot of problems. He was causing problems today. And if you go on social media, Liverpool fans themselves are saying Mohammed Kudus is a baller. I mean, if even the opposition team is saying that our star boy is a baller, what we get to? I mean, he played extremely well. And guys, this is my own reaction towards the game and also how I watched the game and also analyzed the game. It's just rather unfortunate that Westham did not walk away with any points because I feel like with the way they played, they deserved at least a point. Kudus himself played extremely well in that game. But then let me end today's video by asking a question. If you were Mohammed Kudus, would you leave leave West Ham at the end of the season. Looking at how the season has gone so far, yes, Kudus did not perform very well at the beginning of the season and has also contributed to where West Ham are at this moment. But then if the opportunity arises, should Mohammed Kudus leave? Because he has been really good for West Ham today against Liverpool. And I'm sure every single club, every single scout who have been monitoring Mohammed Kudus and also observing him would look at this player and put a correct mark against his name, because he's a sure target for a lot of clubs. And don't be surprised if on Monday you start hearing some new clubs like Real Madrid or Barcelona start showing interest in Mohammed Kudus, because the performance today was A1. With West Ham and you're playing like this, it was excellent. But guys, this is where I'm going to end it. He was rated 7.0 by SofaScore. He put up a very good performance today. It's just rather unfortunate West Ham were not able to win. But then I'll make sure to see you in the next one with more updates concerning our players who play in the EPL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. You're watching Sports Corner GH. Charlie, we go vibe.